Welcome to the good stuff. My name is Dave. This is
Scott.
And what do we got to consume beverage-wise today?
So we're back at our friendly neighborhood Rocketfizz, and today we have a little Ramblin Root Beer Maple.
Nice. I'm excited to try that stuff. You grab that stuff for me, holding the camera. Okay. And you can tell a little bit's actually been drunk. We tested, we made sure it was good. Now let's try for real here.
For real. You can really smell the maple, by the way.
Yes, you can. That's what, it has that root beery taste, but there's this hint that you can just kind of smell.
Yeah, you can smell the maple. But then it ends on the maple. So you taste the root beer to start. It ends on the maple, so it's a little different linger in your mouth of the maple. So it's good.
This is good soda. It's smooth.
Not too fizzy. And I think we determined this was actually a Rocketfizz
Yeah,
product.
this is an exclusive of Rocketfizz, so you know what? We're not sponsored by them, but they're always so kind and let us use their store for a shooting location. So,
and they have good beverages.
Why not come on in and try a maple flavored root beer?
There you go.
It's well worth it. All right, our topic today was one you chose.
Yeah, trying to follow up from our last one of TV shows that ended too soon. So this one is kind of the flip side of that, sort of.
Yeah.
Of movies that should not have had a sequel or should not have continued on.
Right.
So.
And there are a lot of them, right? If you think about it. We really had to whittle down this list, but I think our list is good. You've got 3, I've got 3.
Yeah.
So go ahead, kick us off.
All right, let's kick it off with Highlander 2.
Oh, yeah.
So, Highlander 1, Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery.
Great movie.
Great movie, great story, and it, very unique in the way it was put together.
Right.
All of that stuff. There could be only one. It was really cool, and at the end, it felt like you had wrapped it all up. You had great Queen music throughout.
It was a solid standalone film, right? Directed by Russell McKay, who had done music videos on MTV. It really had a slick visual style to it too, and like you mentioned, Queen had a great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack, and then all of a sudden you end up at the. You end up with Highlander 2, which now they're aliens. It's like, so you get Connery back, you get Lambert back, but
great cast. The cast was all there.
The cast was all there, but the story wasn't, and it was awful. So.
Yeah, darn it all. So, okay, my number. Let's start with Blues Brothers 2000. Okay. John Landis movie, much like I think Highlander 2 was directed by the original director as well, Russell McKay.
It was.
But in this case, Blues Brother 2000 was directed by John Landis, but it was missing a critical ingredient.
It was missing our favorite blues brother.
Yes, Mr. Belushi, John Belushi, had left this world.
That's right.
He left the building, and so they were forced to look for alternatives. There was conversation to get Jim Belushi on board, but
he's under contract.
Yep, under contract with ABC, filming a television series or something like that, and could not break away. So instead we had John Goodman, great actor in his own right.
Yeah.
But he's not John Belushi. He's not Julia Jake. The movie had still had a great soundtrack, much like the original.
Right.
But
good star power, but the story wasn't there. And sorry, Mr. Landis, but
it just really didn't. They weren't able to, as many of these sequels are. They wasn't able to recapture the magic.
Right. Unfortunately.
Yep. All right, your turn.
So similar to trying to recapture the magic, this would be Caddyshack 2, right? So Caddyshack 1, iconic movie, right? Unbelievable cast. Lightning in a bottle because Harold Ramis was literally making it up as he went along. And, and then it all came together. It was just magical, unbelievable, great movie. Right. Caddyshack 2, only returning player from that was Chevy Chase. And, I mean, you had some good staff, right? You had some good people there. You had Diane Cannon, but you didn't have Rodney Dangerfield. You didn't have, the people that really drew that story together and made it fun. So, unfortunately, it just was not worth a second version.
I think that's one of the problems, right? You go to a sequel to see a lot of the same things, and when you have a cast that really there's not much left of the original cast, even if the creative forces behind the movie are the same team, at the It's a different cast. It doesn't really feel true to being a genuine follow-up.
And this was Harold Ramis and Brian Doyle Murray again, but they couldn't capture everything that was going on. And I think you had a humorous story.
Yes. Well, it's just a fond memory of the original Caddyshack. It was one of the very first movies I saw on video, on VHS, and it was actually at school, at Woods Cross High School, Mr. Heap's geometry class. It was brought in for us to watch when he was, I don't know what was going on with him, but thank you for sharing one of my very first R-rated movies I ever saw. I loved it. Some parents weren't as pleased, though. So, just a fond memory.
There you go.
Growing up.
And your second?
Second one, let's go with The Hobbit. Kind of a rant, right? I actually enjoyed the Hobbit movie series with Peter Jackson. I think he's incredibly talented, very gifted filmmaker. Love the Lord of the Rings movies that he made, but there's no reason that this had to be a trilogy.
Right, there really isn't. And you know, if you look at the books, right, you got the Lord of the Rings, which was a trilogy, right, 3 books,
right,
and the Hobbit, book size-wise, really wasn't quite up to snuff with Return of the King, even.
Exactly.
And so, why would you take this one
makes no
small
sense.
book and try? It's money.
It's all, yeah. That's the only way it makes sense, is a big play by studio execs to bring the cash in, right? If you think about it, last time I read, and I have read The Hobbit a couple of times. I only made it partially way through the Lord of the Rings books, but in The Hobbit, as I read that book in junior high and then later on, I do not remember Legolas in that movie at all.
No.
Or in the book.
No,
I do remember him in the movie.
Yeah.
He was awesome in the movie. So anyway, I would say this. The Rankin Bass cartoon from the late 70s, early 80s with Roddy McDowell voicing Bilbo Baggins.
It was good.
That's about what you need with this movie, or this book, in terms of an adaptation.
Right. And Peter Jackson could probably stretch it to 2 hours and make it decent, but almost 3 hour movies. Sorry, dude.
Right. You smash all of those movies together and you're looking at a 450-minute movie, something like that.
Right.
That's way too long for this story. Okay, your turn.
All right, my last one. Let's go with Staying Alive. So this was the second movie in the first one with John Travolta.
Right.
Obviously, my mind just went totally blank.
The Saturday Night Fever?
Saturday Night Fever. Now we've got Staying Alive. So
Yes.
you've got the same basic main character, right? John Travolta's back as Vinnie Barbarino. Not Vinnie Barbarino. That would be Welcome Back, Kotter. But he's back.
I don't remember his character's name in the show.
Right. And so he's back. This one, though, however, directed by the one and only Sylvester Stallone.
That's right. Sly putting his touches on a movie that I don't know if it really was really suitable for Sly to put his touches on, as a director. His artistic vision was a little bit different.
Yeah, and to his credit, though, when John Travolta was going to come do it, he had beefed up, kind of probably looking a little my size-ish.
I remember that.
But Stallone got him on a workout regime, and they worked out together, and he slimmed down immensely, and he was ready to play the part, but back in the skin tight clothing, but not worth the effort to put the movie together.
It's his directorial style he really was applying kind of that MTV, a lot of quick cuts, the musical montages, all that kind of stuff that he would later apply in the Rocky movies as well. I don't know if it really worked for this particular movie. It would have been interesting to see what another director, a different creative team might have done with a follow-up to Saturday Night Fever. Yeah. All right, lastly, have I covered Blues Brothers 2000? I did. So let's go to Batman and Robin. Another rant, another movie that definitely should not have been made. There's absolutely no reason why this film is on celluloid. And if you're going to make it, don't put it in the continuity of the first 2 Tim Burton Batman movies. That's the real problem here, right? The only characters that are, the actors that are still there are the guy that played Alfred and Commissioner Gordon. Those are the kind of the threads that hold this movie together and tie it to those first 2 movies, the 89 Batman movie as well as Batman Returns. But this movie is more like the old Adam West Batman movies, right? And Schumacher had definitely taken, per I believe the studio's request, taken this gritty, dark movie series and lightened it up a ton.
Right.
And you want Clooney?
Well, I was just going to say, so my all-time favorite is still that first Tim Burton Batman.
Right.
That's my first favorite of all of the Batman movies. But my favorite Batman is Clooney. And, you know, Chris O'Donnell as Robin, okay, but you're right. It got a little campy, and the pendulum swung too far the other direction.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they did with the Bond series. It was dark and gritty, and then the Roger Moore, it was a little campy, and then it got dark and gritty with Timothy Dalton, and then back to just campy with
Pierce Brosnan.
Boy, that's
and
terrible.
then we're back to gritty with Daniel Craig.
Yep, we're back to gritty. Anyway, so as we rant on about that, but still, it shouldn't. It probably shouldn't have been made.
I got nothing against George.
No.
Nothing against George. I do think another real, I don't know why they do this, when they put Batgirl in this movie, they changed the character completely. It was just, again, another play. Alicia Silverstone at the time was the hot actress.
Yeah.
And let's get her in the the
Let's get her in a skin-tight outfit.
Right, exactly. It didn't work on so many different levels. This is a sequel. It should never have been made.
Yeah.
All right, done ranting.
Done ranting.
It was enjoyable soda.
Yeah. We can recommend the
Highly
Maple
recommended.
Ramblin Root Beer.
Highly recommended. So with that, let's go ahead and close things out. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy Scott and I yammering on a little bit, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to maybe consider subscribing to the channel. We talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you know.
The good stuff.
But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.